Good morning, everybody. Today is lesson 3 with Miss Walker. We're working on Aunt Flossie's hats and crab cakes later. Still doing Aunt Flossie. Remember, your job is to visualize while I read. That means I'm not going to show you pictures of the book. Crab cakes are small fried rounds of crab meat. Woolly is made of thick sheep's curly hair. Hooves are hard coverings on horses' feet. Terrapins are turtles. Buglers are people who play a musical instrument called a bugle. It's like a trumpet. And rippled is moved in a very small wave. Listen as I read the story of Aunt Flossie. On Sunday afternoons, Sarah and I go to see great-great-Aunt Flossie. Sarah and I love Aunt Flossie's house. It is crowded full of stuff and things. Books and pictures and lamps and pillows. Plates and trays and old dried flowers. And boxes and boxes and boxes of hats. On Sunday afternoons, when Sarah and I go to see Aunt Flossie, she says, "Come in, Susan, come in, Sarah. Have some tea, have some cookies. Later, we can get some crab cakes." We sip our tea and eat our cookies, and then Aunt Flossie lets us look in her hat boxes. We pick out hats and try them on. Aunt Flossie says they are her memories. Each hat has its story. Hats, hats, hats. And more hats. A stiff black one with a bright red ribbon. A soft brown one with silver buttons. Then floppy hats that hide our eyes. Green or blue or pink or purple. Some have fur and some have feathers. Look, this hat is just one smooth, soft rose. But here's one with 1,000,000,000 flowers. Aunt Flossie has so many hats. One Sunday afternoon, I picked out a woolly winter hat. Sort of green, maybe. Aunt Flossie thought a minute. Aunt Flossie must always think a minute before she starts a hat story. Then she sniffed the woolly hat. "Just a little smell now," she said. Sarah and I sniffed the hat too. "Smoky smell, Aunt Flossie?" "The big fire," Aunt Flossie said. "The big fire in Baltimore. Everything smelled of smoke for miles around, for days and days. Big fire. Didn't come near our house on Center Street, but we could still hear fire engines racing down St. Paul. Horses' hooves clattering, bells, whistles. Your great-grandma and I couldn't sleep. We grabbed our coats and hats and ran outside. Worried about Uncle Jimmy's grocery store. Worried about the terrapins and the crabs. Big fire in Baltimore." Aunt Flossie closed her eyes. I think she was seeing long ago. I wondered about crab cakes. Did they have crab cakes way back then? Then Sarah sniffed Aunt Flossie's hat. "No more smoky smells," she said. "But I thought I could smell some. Just a little." Then Sarah tried a different hat. Dark blue with a red feather. "This one, Aunt Flossie. This one." Aunt Flossie closed her eyes and thought a minute. "Oh my, yes, my, what an exciting day." We waited, Sarah and I. "What happened, Aunt Flossie?" I asked. "Big parade in Baltimore." "Oh, parade," said Sarah. "We love parades." "I made that hat," Aunt Flossie said, "to wear to watch that big parade. Buglers bugling, drummers drumming, flags flying everywhere. The boys, soldiers you know, back home from France, marching up Charles Street, proud, everyone cheering, everyone shouting. The Great War was over, the Great War was over." "Let's have a parade," I said. Sarah put on the dark blue hat. I found a red one with a furry pom-pom. We marched around Aunt Flossie's house. "March with us, Aunt Flossie," I called. But she was closing her eyes. She was seeing long ago. "Maybe she's dreaming about crab cakes," Sarah said. Then we looked in a very special box. "Look, Aunt Flossie, here's your special hat." It was a big straw hat with the pink and yellow flowers and green velvet ribbon. Aunt Flossie's best Sunday hat. It's our favorite story because we are in the story, and we can help Aunt Flossie tell it. Aunt Flossie smiled. "One Sunday afternoon," she said, "we are going out for crab cakes. Sarah and Susan and Mommy and Daddy," I said. "And Aunt Flossie," said Sarah. Aunt Flossie nodded. "We are walking by the water and the wind came." "Let me tell it," I said. "The wind came and blew away your favorite best Sunday hat." "My favorite best Sunday hat," said Aunt Flossie. "It landed in the water." "It was funny," said Sarah. "Well, I didn't think so," said Aunt Flossie. "And Daddy tried to reach it," I said, "but he slid down in the mud." Daddy looked really surprised, and everybody laughed. "He couldn't rescue my favorite best Sunday hat," said Aunt Flossie. "And Mommy got a stick and leaned far out. She almost fell in, but she couldn't reach it either. The water rippled, and your favorite best Sunday hat just floated by like a boat." "Now then comes the best part, and I'll tell it," said Sarah. "A big brown dog came. It was walking with a boy." "May we help you?" the boy asked. "My dog Gretchen can get it." The boy threw a small stone, and it landed in Aunt Flossie's hat. "Fetch, Gretchen, fetch. Fetch, Gretchen, fetch." Gretchen jumped into the water, and she swam. She swam, and she got it. Gretchen got Aunt Flossie's hat. "Hooray for Gretchen!" We all jumped up and down. "Hooray for Aunt Flossie's hat!" "It was very wet," said Aunt Flossie, "but it dried just fine, almost like new. My favorite, best Sunday hat." "I like that story," I said. "So do I," said Sarah. "And I like what happened next, when we went to get crab cakes." "Crab cakes," said Aunt Flossie. "What a wonderful idea. Sarah, Susan, telephone your parents. We'll go get some crab cakes right now." I think Sarah and I will always agree about one thing. Nothing in the whole wide world tastes as good as crab cakes. But crab cakes taste better after really good stories about Aunt Flossie's hats. Okay, so first we talked about, we only read like 3 or 4 pages of the book, and everybody was supposed to draw Aunt Flossie's hat or what they thought Aunt Flossie's hat would look like. If you didn't have markers or crayons, which yes, I'm the teacher, I didn't have markers or crayons at my house because they're all at school, and maybe yours were too. So I found a picture. Maybe your grandma or auntie or somebody, mom has a hat that you like, that you could have thought was Aunt Flossie's hat. That's fine too. Just imagine, guys. Use your imagination. That's what visualization is all about. Remember this one? What was your favorite hat story and why? Was yours the same as mine? Mine was the dog. Why? Because I love puppy dogs. So anything that has a dog in it that's a good story, chances are, that's what I'm going to pick. That's my why. But remember, you guys don't have to have the same favorite as I do because we're all different. Hey, since we're working on pictures and visualizing, I'm still not allowed to show you pictures of the book. Your task for today is to draw what you think the hat looked like Aunt Flossie wore to the parade. You may draw Aunt Flossie with her hat and the parade. So listen for a few seconds as I read. Big parade in Baltimore. "Oh, parade," said Sarah. "We love parades." "I made that hat," said Aunt Flossie, "to wear to watch that big parade. Buglers bugling, drummers drumming, flags flying everywhere. The boys, the soldiers, back from France, marching up Charles Street. Proud, everyone cheering, everyone shouting. The Great War was over, the Great War was over." So now you have to draw what I just read. And if you don't have crayons or markers, do pencils. Maybe, or you could find a picture of a parade. Whatever you guys are visualizing, or you can tell whoever you're stuck home with if you don't have anything to draw with. Miss Walker said, and you tell them what you visualized on this. And let's see. That's all for today, guys. Come back tomorrow and we'll learn more about Aunt Flossie and her hats.